More men have come forward to the BBC accusing the former chief executive of Abercrombie and Fitch and his British partner of exploitation. Some allege they were abused, and some that they were injected with drugs. Luke says he was shocked as he was guided into Mike Jeffries' presidential suite in a hotel in Spain. It was like a movie set of an Abercrombie store. He recalls the event in 2011, and I thought we were going to do a photo shoot. He says the room was dimly lit with erotic photos of men's abs adorning the dark walls. In the middle, a group of assistants dressed in Abercrombie and Fitch uniforms, polos, blue jeans, and flip-flops were casually folding clothes on a table pretending to be shop workers, he says. Then aged 20, Luke says he had been offered the chance of being in a company advert if he flew from his home in Los Angeles to Madrid to meet the CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch. Luke says the proposal had come via a modeling website from a man who said he worked as a talent scout and executive assistant for Mr. Jeffries, then head of the billion-dollar teen retailer. Trigger warning. In the suite, he says Mr. Jeffries' assistants began engaging in role-play, encouraging him to act as a shirtless greeter, a hallmark of A&F stores at the time. Luke says he remembers the talent scout saying, "Now I have two very important guests, and these are going to be the customers that you need to impress and entertain because they're going to be buying a lot of clothes from you." At that moment, he says Mr. Jeffries and his life partner, Matthew Smith, came out of the corner of the room. They immediately started touching him, and Mr. Jeffries forcibly kissed him. He says, "I was trying to avoid the whole situation as much as I could, but Michael was very aggressive." He says the Abercrombie boss then performed oral on him. "I tried to say no repeatedly, and then I just got kind of convinced to do something. But I constantly was saying no, and I wanted to go." Luke, not his real name, is one of 8 more men who have spoken to the BBC in the past year since we revealed allegations of exploitation at events hosted by Mr. Jeffries and Mr. Smith. The FBI launched an investigation following the BBC's reporting, and 20 men in total have now told us they attended or helped organize these events. As well as Luke's allegation, the new witness reveal fresh details about the scale of the events, which took place at least from 2005 until 2015 when Mr. Jeffries was chief executive. The BBC previously found there had been a sophisticated operation involving a middleman tasked with finding men for these events, but the new testimonies detail additional recruitment methods. The men also raised new questions about the role of Mr. Jeffries' assistants, a select group of young men in A&F uniforms who traveled around the world with him and supervised these events. According to the multiple men, Mr. Jeffries' assistants injected some attendees with what they were told was liquid Viagra. Chris, not his real name, told the BBC he felt he was going to die after one of these injections caused an extreme reaction during an event at one of Mr. Jeffries' New York homes. Feeling hot, dizzy, and in shock, he said nobody called for an ambulance. Still disoriented, he said Mr. Jeffries and Mr. Smith, who had been waiting in another room, then tried to have with him. Former model Keith Milkey, 31, says one of Mr. Jeffries' assistants had also bragged about having done some work for Abercrombie and Fitch at the same time as working at these events. He says this assistant was named on an event itinerary, and the BBC found he also had an A&F company email. While personal assistants of Mr. Jeffries were often dressed in A&F uniforms, this is the first claim that a member of A&F staff was involved in the running of Mr. Jeffries' events. When the BBC asked the company about this, it declined to answer, saying it does not comment on legal matters. Mr. Jeffrey, 80s, Mr. Smith, 61, and A&F, which also owns the brand Hollister, are facing a civil lawsuit alleging the retailer funded a trafficking operation over the 2 decades he had been in charge. They have not responded to requests for comments. However, their lawyers have previously said they deny allegations of wrongdoing, adding, "The courtroom is where we will deal with this matter." Y'all, this is a pretty in-depth article. There's more, obviously, more survivors who are telling their story here. So, capitalism, patriarchy, white supremacy. Oh, don't forget to hit those buttons over there. I hope your day doesn't suck. Okay, love y'all. Bye.